I'm going to make the most delicious apple upside down cake. I love this because it's the perfect ratio of cake to apples. So you'll need 4 apples for this recipe, and I've got Granny Smith apples. What I've done is peeled the apples, cored them and cut them in 4. I don't want to cut them any smaller than this because I want them to hold their shape as they bake in the oven. But first we need to give them a head start and cook them in the pan in some apple juice. So I'm going to be doing it in a non-stick pan, and I love this one because the handle comes off, which means it's going to make it so much easier to flip at the end. So we'll place this on a medium heat, and we need to make a sugar syrup to cook our apples in. So 1 cup of apple juice, and we can do this all in the same pan. 1/4 cup of caster sugar. The zest of 1 lemon, give this a good hit of lemon zest. Fabulous. And then a vanilla bean. Just cut it straight down the centre. And you know this is a beautiful fresh one because it's so plump, it's full of seeds. The seeds is what we want for this recipe. So once you've split it in half, we'll just scrape down the centre. Look at all those seeds. That is going to make this extra special. We'll just place them straight into our apple juice syrup. And then just with a spoon, I'll just mix that and distribute those beautiful little vanilla seeds. And now for the apples. I've just pre-done these and put them in some acidulated water, which just means some lemon in some water. And that just ensures they hold their beautiful white colour. Give them a bit of a shake and just ensure that all of those apples are covered in that liquid. Now this is going to cook for roughly 10 minutes. Keep an eye on them. You don't want it to turn into a compote. You want them to be just tender. So while they're cooking, we can get on to the batter for this recipe. It's very similar to a cobbler batter when it goes in the oven. So in my cuisine companion, I'll add some dry ingredients. So 1/2 cup of self-raising flour, and this will give it a nice little lift, along with some sugar, 1 cup of caster sugar, and I love the addition of desiccated coconut. Now, when you're baking, always add a pinch of salt. Now we're going to place the lid on and just pulse it 2 or 3 times just to combine the dry ingredients. Okay, now we need to add 1 egg. I'll break that into a bowl first. There we go. And then in it goes. Now I'll add 115 grams of cold butter. If you use butter that's not cold, what will happen is it'll become too soft and it'll be too pliable. I want it to hold its shape just like you would be doing short crust pastry. Great. Lid goes on, and now I'll pulse this for about 30 seconds to a minute. Just keep an eye on it. Once it comes together, you know that it's ready. Absolutely perfect. Look at that. See how that batter is just holding its shape. Love that. Okay, now that this batter is done, I can keep it cool. We just need to wait for those apples to finish cooking, and then they need to cool down to room temperature before we add the batter to the top. So these apples have cooled down nicely. I've also placed the vanilla bean in because it looks really pretty for presentation. Just make sure that you place it at the base of the pan, so when you flip it, that's what you see. These apples are just tender too because they're going to continue cooking in the oven. Now let's place our batter over the top, and I like to do this in little sections. Take a small chunk and place it over here, another amount over here, and then just evenly spread it out across the top of the pan. Now this pan is a 22 centimetre pan, and that's the perfect size for this style of cake. You can even double the recipe if you like, if you want to make a really large cake. Now, using your hands, spread the cake out just so it almost looks like an apple crumble, and just use the back of a spoon if it's easier. So you want to cover most of the top, but don't forget, because I've used self-raising flour and there's butter in there, it will spread as soon as it goes into that hot oven. Now let's place this in the oven to bake away. This is going to take roughly 25 to 30 minutes at 180 degrees. How good does this cake look? See how it looks a little bit clumpy there, and it almost feels like a cookie on the top. Now we need to take it out of the pan, and because this is non-stick, it's just going to make life a lot easier. Let it cool down for about 10 minutes, and then just with the palm of your hand, twist it in the pan, and if it does that, well, you know it's going to come out. But I shouldn't be too cocky yet. Let's flip it out and see the results. 1, 2, 3. Boom. All right, let's give it a bit of a tap. And then the big reveal. Wow. Phew. Very happy with that. That looks fantastic. Those apples are lovely and soft now. You can see the little speckles of vanilla, and it's glistening from that apple juice syrup. Pretty happy with this cake. I think I should have a taste. So I'm just gonna cut a lovely, generous portion. And that cake sounds really crispy from the topping there, and it should be really moist in the center. Let's have a look. That is just perfect. And if you're going to make an effort to make a beautiful cake like this, you need to finish it off with a generous amount of double cream, just a nice little quenelle right on the top, and it will melt away. Woohoo! I'm a happy lady. Dig into this. Give that cake a go. So good.